Super Bowl Sunday. I am indeed alive. I've only put out, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos in the last 2.5 weeks. But I am indeed alive and I'm back. So, decided to do a YouTube live this morning. It's been a while. And I am a little bit sick right now. And just kind of came on yesterday. We've had some really crazy weather around here that's been getting me sick, and good morning. So if I sound awful, forgive me. Everybody around here has been sick and I've been avoiding it. What's up, guys? Let's get some gains. I actually went to the gym yesterday and did some heavy shoulder work, and that felt good. Got around 220, 240 for a lot of quality reps on seated overhead press. So all right. Yeah, who do you guys want to win today? I know it's a very divisive topic. Patriots or Eagles? Patriots or Eagles? And should Tom Brady be kissing his son? All kinds of crazy topics out there in the realm. Excuse my sickness. I'll try not to cough all over you guys and get sick. So, yeah, I'm going to do this for about a half an hour. If you guys have any questions. Honestly, my working out, my training has sucked the last 3 weeks. All right, Peter said he started doing a rep goal system this week and foresee a lot of gains. Yeah, man, just stick it out, give it a try, learn from it, see what you like, see what you want to change. And, excuse me, don't be afraid to, make any changes, because like anything, it's just a tool. It's not magic. Tom Brady makes out with what did I miss? Makes out with his son. Yeah, I don't know. It's way too complicated for me. Way too complicated for me. Life is way too complicated. Can't we all just get along? So yeah, I hit the gym yesterday. Did shoulders, felt kind of spotty in the throat. Then I wake up today and I'm like, man, I just feel absolutely awful. So yeah, guys, I'll take your questions for about a half an hour. If you have any questions, just toss them up. If I miss your questions, just put them up again. Let's see. Is a 200-pound bench, 280 squat, and 360 deadlift good lifts for a 16-year-old training for 9 months? Absolutely. Those are wonderful lifts for a 16-year-old that's been training 9 months. Your bench is quite impressive, because you're not even 17 yet, and you're going to be benching with 2 wheels on each side. So yeah, that's awesome. Mott says, hello, man. I just wanted to know, why do I get cramped in my lower back and glutes and ass when I bench? That's a very, very good question. I used to get a lot of back cramps when I benched, and they would come and go. It's hard to say why you're getting cramps, but you can always try to work on improving your tightness and overall tightness, so there's not as much stress on the back and glutes. I put out a video on this the other day about concentrating with your feet when you're lowering the bar, but pushing down and away as you're lowering the bar. That'll help with leg tightness, and that'll start to incorporate half of your body. One of the biggest, meatiest parts of your body into staying tight during the eccentric of a bench press. And a lot of guys underuse leg tightness, so that might help. But as far as just general, why do you get cramps in your glutes? It's really hard to say. You're putting a lot of stress on that, on those muscle groups. So just make sure you're getting in plenty of electrolytes a few hours before your workouts to help reduce the tendency to cramp, and do things to take care of your muscles after leg day and stuff. I like to take hot baths and stuff just to relax things. You might want a foam roll, etc. Let's see. Red Pill Saved by Grace says, if I can't do squats, can the leg press and sumo deadlift work to replace it? The leg press is an excellent exercise, and for guys that can't or won't squat, I do a lot of things. I would recommend leg presses, hack squats, leg extensions. You can do supersets with body weight lunges, supersets with box jumps. I would do things like leg extensions supersetted with box jumps, leg extensions supersetted with body weight lunges, leg presses supersetted with leg extensions, leg presses supersetted with body weight lunges. There's so much you can do because there's so many great quality leg exercises. So the squat should be a cornerstone. But yeah, there's so many other ways you can work your legs. So, hey guys, if I miss your question, just post it up again. How can't you do squats, but you can do sumo deadlifts? All right, let's see here. Whenever I squat with high bar, percentage of my 1 rep max, path tends to be a little off. Once I start to come out of the hole, my body path goes forward. Okay, here's the thing. That is usually technique driven. When guys come out of the hole, they're not always concentrating on driving their head up. And a lot of times, this is a big one. When I watch people squat when they're coming out of the hole, their hips stay back. Their hips stay back. They're not really using their hips and glutes to drive and lock up. Once you come out of the hole in a squat, your lockout mechanism is your hips and glutes. So I tell people to think ass up, hip forward. Ass up, hips forward. If you watch your squats from the side, odds are that once you come up a little bit, even if you're driving up with the head, you're not really thinking about your hips. So really concentrate on driving your hips forward. This is just one tool that will help you stay more upright and not fold as much. Let's see. I love GVT. Do you think it's a good idea to make my primary training style? I've been adding weight every 2 weeks. If you're making good progress, yes, but GVT can get rather intense. So if you like it, run it until it becomes a burden, and then maybe you can cycle it every other week. Do volume work do a different style training 1 week and GVT the other. So if you're making good progress on something, definitely stick with it. It'll be a good learning process. Just don't hesitate to change things if it starts to let you down a little bit. Do you have any tips for improving the overhead press? That's a very good question. I've had a relatively strong overhead press over the years. 315 seated behind the neck press, 315 seated, 315 seated military. They don't call it a military press, but front press. Excuse me, I'm sick. The biggest thing is tricep strength, tricep strength, tricep strength. That's your big one. Another tip I have is a lot of guys, when they're training the overhead press, they like to do low rep work like they do on all the other big lifts, like squats and deadlifts and bench press. I don't like that at all. I find that naturally the shoulders tend to fatigue on rep work. So that to me tells me, okay, if my shoulders like to fatigue on rep 7 or 8, I'm going to start doing 8 to 10 rep sets on overhead press. So I recommend as well, not just trying to get your triceps strong, but also really trying to do some volume work on your overhead pressing. 8 to 10 rep sets for 4 to 5 sets per workout. You can do 2 different exercises. You can do overhead press and a seated dumbbell press and do 3 sets of each. 3 sets of maybe 6 to 8 on overhead presses, and on dumbbell presses 3 sets of 10 to 12. But get some volume in as well and try to progress on that volume. I think we have a tendency to work each and every lift the same, but I think this is a good solid way to try to approach overhead pressing by getting in volume work. So I hope that helped a little bit. Let's see. William says, Steve, just putting carbs back in my diet. I'm at 120 grams of carbs per day. Is that enough carbs to start putting on muscle? Absolutely, absolutely. I eat very low carbish, and if you feel good, everybody's different. Let's just establish that. So I hate to put out general advice, but if you feel good on a low carb, low-ish carb diet, and your energy is good and you're getting in enough calories to build muscle, you will build muscle. As long as you are pushing hard in the gym, progressing, eating enough protein and eating enough calories, the micronutrient makeup of how many carbs you're eating won't matter because it's highly unique. When I was, The first 2 years after I lost 100 pounds, I didn't eat very many carbs at all. But the year and a half after that, when I put back on a lot of muscle mass, I was still eating really, really low carb. Now, since then, I've started to put some rice back into my diet, and it's worked okay. But yeah, as long as it feels good for you, run with it, my man, run with it. Is there something to relieve the tightness of my lower back after squats? I feel if I push my hips forward, it feels better, but as soon as I relax my hips, it gets tight again. I think the only thing that's going to cure that is just time and effort. Sometimes there's just a weakness or a tightness that comes in muscles. You just continue to work on form. You just continue to work on strength. You continue to listen to your body. And you might have some tightness in areas. Like I used to get a lot of hamstring cramps. And I got them for like 23 years, and they just finally went away. So sometimes, no, there's not a lot you can do other than like foam rolling, a nice hot bath or sauna, excuse me, contrast showers, etc. So excuse me, I'm still a little sick. So let's see, David Rodriguez. My knees always cave in with heavy weight on sumo deadlift, no matter how much IQ knees out. Any advice? Here's my advice. If you're struggling with a major issue and it is a form issue that's going to put pressure on your knees, you need to stop doing that with heavy-ish weight. What I would do, excuse me, is you can do one of two things. I would alternate between sumo deadlift weeks and conventional weeks. And I would, on your sumo weeks, I would stick with more rep work and not do heavier work, so that could be kind of your volume week. Or you could do your conventional work first and then drop down in weight and do a couple more volume sumo sets. If the knees are caving in, generally, and you're really focused on pushing them out, then you could have an imbalance in your quads. You could have an imbalance in quads and hamstring strength. Excuse me. It could be any number of issues. So I would attack it in a well-rounded way. I would try to make sure you're getting your inner and outer quads as strong as possible. You're getting your hamstrings as strong as possible. Get everything down there as strong as possible so you can have as much natural balance in the knee as you can. So I hope that helps some. Let's see. Hey man, should the deadlift negative be controlled as an No. Never worry about the deadlift negative. And by controlled, I don't mean you just slam the thing down, but you just you just hold that bar and let gravity take it. You don't want to control it because that's going to put a super amount of stress on your lower back. So I don't like to be one of these douchebags that makes a lot of noise when I deadlift, but on the other hand, you got to take care of your lower back. And I let gravity go and I ride it down, but I don't control it and I don't lower it because that eccentric is going to be extremely taxing on your lower back and in the long run, not healthy at all. So I hope that has helped. My friend went on a keto eating regimen, has lost 25 pounds in a month. Is the cause of this because of the keto diet? Well, there's two reasons. When you drop let me start with this. Carbohydrates pull water. They're very unique. They pull water into every cell of the human body. This is one of the reasons carbohydrates can possibly contribute to inflammation. For me, somebody that doesn't eat a lot of carbs generally, when I eat carbs, I get sinus inflammation, very noticeable. It's very noticeable for me. And so what's going to happen when you get off carbs and go keto is you're going to flush out a lot of water. If a dude is bigger, like over 230, 240, 250, 260, and he goes on a no-carb diet, you're going to flush out a ton of water during the first month. You're probably going to lose at least 10 pounds. So a lot of that first month stuff, really on any diet, is going to be water weight. Really on any diet, if you go from eating a lot of processed foods and crap foods to eating a clean, healthy diet, you're naturally going to reduce your carbs, you're naturally going to reduce your sodium, and you're naturally going to reduce the impact your body has on processing all these chemicals, so you're typically going to flush out a lot more water. So first month weight loss is very heavy water. After that, it's more normal or regulated weight loss. And keto is not magic at all. In fact, my opinion is you don't need to go keto. You don't. It's just the science doesn't back it up at all. Just eat healthy. I literally can't increase my bench press and feel weak on bench, but for dumbbell, I'm getting stronger. Okay, here's the thing. If you're going through a stall on your barbell bench press, but your dumbbell bench press is going up, that's a good thing because eventually your barbell bench press is going to go up. So while your dumbbell bench press is going up, I want you to focus on two more things. Getting your shoulders as strong as humanly possible. Do a lot of shoulder volume like I talked about earlier in this video. Get your triceps as strong as humanly possible. Do a lot of tricep volume and get them strong. And also concentrate on getting your back as strong as possible. Get your rows as strong as humanly possible. And just be patient. While all these things are getting strong and your dumbbell bench press is getting strong, you're going to wake up one day and your bench is going to start to improve again. I guarantee it. How important is fascia trigger point work to treat injuries? No idea, honestly. One thing you'll find on this channel is if I don't know the answer, I'm not gonna lie to you and make up some stuff. So that's out of my wheelhouse. That's something that you could ask Mark Lobliner on his live videos, or I would search it out on the internet because that's definitely not my expertise. Sprinting speed and explosive power. That's a very good question. I think there is some value in doing explosive type of work for strength, but you have to be very careful with this and listen to your body. Sprinting is good. I do box jumps because I'm a big oaf and I don't want to sprint and tear up a calf. So I think there's some value to it. Explosive work, like you can do explosive jump squats with a very light weight. You just have to take care of your body, but it is certainly worth trying because there is evidence that explosive work can help with strength. The problem is when you tell somebody that, we have a tendency to go overboard or go crazy and not listen to our body, and that increases the risk of tearing something. So just be careful and get into it slowly. Don't get into it full speed. I'm sorry, I'm sick. Any recommendation on getting rid of inflammation in the shoulder? Can't do any pressing. Wow, how do you get rid of inflammation in the shoulder? Can't do any pressing. I mean, the reduction of inflammation, there are certainly some things you can do minor diet-wise, like we just talked about dropping carbs a little bit, but I really doubt that. I'm just thinking out loud, that's not really going to impact things much at all. Again, that's something I have never dealt with personally. I don't have a lot of personal experience with, so I hesitate to give you good advice. All I can really tell you is try to do the things you can do with the shoulders to keep your strength and you want to keep your strength up in your shoulders to maintain a good, healthy shoulder girdle balance, a good level of balance strength with your chest and your shoulders and your back. So do what you can do and keep them strong and just continue to search out and see if there's any solutions out there. Steve, is lifting racist like yoga? I want to keep my white privilege in check. I believe the article by the Michigan State professor, or the article on the Michigan State professor, is saying only white Americans that practice yoga are pushing white supremacy or racism. So I believe in the modern era, I've seen this in the news, we can associate with a different country, but let's take that a step forward. I associate with races from outer space. I associate with alien races from outer space that haven't been found yet. That is where I associate my heritage with, because I believe, I'm being facetious here, guys. Don't take this literally. I believe we were seeded by people from other planets. So if you associate with the bigger picture, like no races on Earth, and you associate with alien races, and you do yoga, I think you're safe. So just use that card. We can associate with genders and races and whatever we want. This is the brave new world. Do you own Nick, do you own any weightlifting shoes? Where are my Chucks? Where are my Chucks? I own 2 pair of custom Chucks. One's in the one is in the my gym bag. But yeah, I just use Chuck Taylors. I make custom Chucks. I personally like squatting in Chucks. Obviously, I like deadlifting in Chucks. So I have some really good Nikes as well that I wear like on bench day, for good support. But I don't wear Olympic shoes because I like squatting in flat-soled shoes. But Olympic shoes are worth it if you don't like squatting in flat-soled shoes. So yeah, I have 2 pair of Chucks. Why do you call yourself the big, hairy, ugly dude? It's just a thing. Like when I was 346 pounds, if you look early on in my videos, 5-6 years ago, I just got on YouTube. I didn't know what this thing was. I didn't know anybody would actually want to, so one day I was just like, hey, I'm the big, and I was 346 pounds, hairy, I had a beard out to here, ugly. I was ugly as AF, I was ugly AF, and I was a dude, so it just came out, and it's just kind of fun. Do you think deadlifts are worth it if you're not powerlifting? That's a very good question. I think that it is worth building up your deadlift to like 4 or 5 by 5 reps. But if you're just in it for muscle building, I think the pull has a lot of value for trap strength, for upper body strength, for even back strength. But if you're not in it for powerlifting, do you need to pull from the floor? No, but I would strongly recommend that you pull from 3, 5 to 7 inches off the ground and get in, 20 to 30 reps of that a workout. Because I think a good back workout and a good traps workout, you have to have some heavy pulling like that. It's just a very quality exercise. Do you have to pull from the floor? Not necessarily. Do you even have to pull? No, but I think you're shortchanging yourself a little bit. I think a well-rounded back program is going to have some form of a pull. And a heavy dumbbell or barbell row, you can alternate between the two. And a heavy variation of a pull down, either lat pull down or pull-ups or whatever. So, see, like the video, guys. Thank you. Joel says, how's it going, Joel? Are you still trying to lose a few pounds? If so, how's that coming along? Yeah, I am. I've had really a crazy 2 months in my life where I've been sick with the flu that was going around. On Christmas, I got it really bad. And then my girl went back to Australia, and I've been drinking a little bit too much beer and eating a little bit too much nasty food. But yeah, when she gets back, we're actually committing to not doing the beer thing and cleaning up my diet even more, because in the mornings I have a tendency to eat one of these protein cookies and just little dietary things I want to change personally, because I am 50 years old. I want to change a few things, and I really need to get down to 210, 220 pounds. I've been talking about it for a year now, but I've just had a wonderful year with my fiance. We've been out exploring and hiking. I hiked 75 times last year. And we've just been eating and drinking and having a good old time. So, yeah. Brett says, I have a labor job that when adding in mandatory overtime, running at home and the children will take time out of either my sleep or training. I like sleep. What do you recommend for a split? Brett, that's a good question. And I like a flexible split. I just put together a workout over at Tiger Fitness. And it's coming out in the newsletter. It came out in the newsletter the other day. You can search Steve Shaw Tiger Fitness and go to my articles, and it's the most recent one. It's a brief workout on how to work out in only 30 minutes. And it's only an example. But I would recommend doing an upper-lower, or if you can go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week, doing a split, but trying to keep that only to 30 minutes. And there's ways to do that with block training, with supersetting. You don't have to live in the gym. You can go in, do a couple heavier sets on your main exercise, and then you can do like supersets of barbell rows and inverted rows, or there's just so many things. But I would really focus on trying to get your workouts down to 30 minutes. and use a workout that's probably flexible, like an upper lower, where you can go A and B and A and B, and you can just go between upper and lower on whatever days you can actually get to the gym. That's my best advice. Let's see. Steve, how do you control your cravings and keep them in check? It really comes down to patience, and it really comes down to not being hard on yourself and taking things step by step daily. Like, I have a big craving for chips. I like to eat chips. So there are things you can do, like if I want nachos, you can take turkey bacon and make it really crispy and then use that as the chip. When I want salty stuff or I want a lot of food, sometimes I'll just get a big bowl of diced tomatoes, diced onions, diced cucumbers, put a lot of red wine vinegar, put a lot of salt in there, and I'll eat that whole Jethro Bodine bowl of that stuff. And it's only like 200 calories, but it really fills me up. Cravings, you have to learn first and foremost how to not eat the whole thing of ice cream, but just eat the small thing of ice cream. You need to work with your cravings, not get the whole bag of Doritos. Don't bring the whole bag of Doritos in the house. Just bring the little one. It's okay to have a little bit of that stuff, but you need to day by day work on your discipline, and you're going to fail a lot. But if you try to completely abstain from these cravings, you're going to probably break down and just go crazy. So try to work with them. Try to be patient, understanding that rewiring your habits is going to take time. And when you break from the path and you eat a whole thing of ice cream and you eat a whole thing of chips, don't get up the next day and go back into that lifestyle where you're doing that crap food every day. Go back into your good lifestyle the next day. That is an essential. So just remember that. Where's the best place to increase my knowledge on lifting and training and diet? There's so much free information out there. I'm going to plug my book here because my book is one of the best resources on how to maximize any workout system. It's called Massive Iron, and I'll plug it in below. It's not going to be below in this live video, but I'll plug it in like 10 minutes. But you can go to muscleandbrawn.com and check out the shop, or you can check out the links in any of the videos that I've done previously. That's a good resource. There are also tons of resources, tons of articles I've written at tigerfitness.com. I've written hundreds and hundreds of articles at Tiger Fitness, and they're free. You just Google Steve Shaw Tiger Fitness. You're just going to come to my articles. Just check out my articles first. I got tons of free information that'll help you out. And my videos, I have 1,500 videos. There's just so much information. You just have to be really picky about your information sources. There's a lot of good sources out there, but there's also a lot of bad sources out there. And let's see. Hello, everyone. Steve, 2 quick questions. Is it okay to use for a while plates under my heels while doing squats? Yeah, it can be. I mean, I would have somebody also look at your squat to make sure they can address any issues that might be limiting your depth. But just know if you have plates under your feet, it's going to have a tendency to push you forward. So it's almost better to get a shoe with a little bit of elevation, and that's going to be a little bit safer, especially when stepping back. So I would get a shoe with a little bit of elevation so you don't have to risk injury. Another question, can one add face pulls and direct neck work at the end of the beginning? Yeah, you can add face pulls. I mean, face pulls are a good one. Neck work, if you feel like you want to do neck work, great. I think you're better off adding extra trap work, like more power shrugs, because I have a big ass neck. People are always like, where do you get that big ass neck from? It's just all shrugs. It's just all meat. It's just like years and years of heavy compound movements and shrugs. You can certainly add in neck work. Just make sure you're taking care of your spine. Don't go too heavy too soon. Just ease into it. Let's see. Will your hard gainer full body workout make me get on? How beastly will your full body hard gainer workout make you get on a scale of 1 to 10? If you work any of my workouts, they're going to be as good as any other workouts you're going to find by any other trainer. And how beastly you get is really determined by how hard you push sets and how much you're progressing and how much you're making every set count. So if you do that stuff, you're going to get beastly, but you just need to make sure your diet's in check as well. I only build beasts, I don't build puny humans. Steve, how would you recommend rep goal on squats? I always fear getting injured. Well, the first thing you need to do when you're doing squats and you're pushing them hard is, and I've said this a million times, push each set for as many reps as possible, but stop the set when your form goes to crap or you feel like you're going to fail on the next rep. Only safe, quality reps. That needs to be your focus. And if you're a little bit nervous and you stop 2 reps short of failure or 3 reps short of failure, that's fine, as long as you're adding up the reps for those sets and you're trying to beat them a little bit each workout. So that's the best advice. It's okay to stop a little bit earlier in your workouts, in your squat sets, as long as mentally you're okay. But over time, you'll build strength and you'll build confidence, but just keep trying to progress. And for somebody that's not too confident with squats and fears injury, keep the reps a little bit higher and the weight a little bit more relatively light. If you're doing 3 sets, a rep goal of 30 or even 32 or even 33 or whatever, you can bump that number to anything you want, but 30 is probably a good target, or about 10 reps per set is a good average range. I would love if you would recommend more workout videos, and I'm about 5'5", 160. Yeah, I mean, I have so many workouts out there. It's crazy. If you go to tigerfitness.com, I've put together so many workouts. So yeah, you want some workouts, just check out my stuff at tigerfitness.com or check out my book. Overhead press, paused or used stretch reflex. I like controlled overhead press. I don't see value of pausing in the hole, because here's the reason. Like the overhead press, if you have good form, you can certainly pause. I just don't see the value of it on the overhead press. I think if you pause, you're going to have a tendency to sink, and that elbow is going to move back, and you're just going to put a little bit extra strain on your shoulders. Whereas on the bench press, if you have good form, you're going to be in a position, and hopefully you're not sinking in. So there is some downside to pausing, in that you risk bar sink, you risk losing tightness, which can increase the stress placed on your shoulders for both types of movements. I think the best bang for your buck on overhead presses is doing more volume, and I stressed that earlier in this video. So whatever you do, I would do it with volume. See what feels better for you. It's going to be a coin flip, but I think if you're doing the volume of pressing, that's going to be the real winner compared to overhead press or stretch reflex or any other thing. Joel said, I've noticed you've been sick forever. No, I just got the flu and then I just got sick here again. So I have really, really bad sinuses. That's the main issue. And this weather changes. It's been really crazy this year. Ohio is actually the worst place in the United States for allergies, or so I've been told. And it tends to kick my booty sometimes, my big old booty. Joel, thank you. Thank you for that. I didn't even know you could do that, so thank you, sir. What is your favorite shoulder movement for mass? My favorite shoulder movement for mass is a tag team, and I like seated presses. You can do standing presses. They're really tough on the core, but seated or standing, combination of a barbell press and a dumbbell press. I like to do a barbell press and either Arnold's or high rep, high volume dumbbell presses. So my favorite isn't one movement for shoulders. My favorite is combining a dumbbell and barbell press in each workout and doing a lot of volume. You do that, you're going to get beefy, strong shoulders. So that's my favorite. Let's see. If I miss your question, I'm scrolling through them right now. Hey, Steve, I laid off whey protein for 10 months now, and I've seen a lot of changes. I got smaller. I can't get stronger, and my recovery time is extended. Is that normal? Wow, man, I don't know what your protein intake is. That's an interesting question. Maybe your protein intake's much lower. I'm assuming it's not. But, I can't really say what's going on, but I can say if you remove a variable and it changes the game, maybe you need to put the variable in unless there's a reason why you can't use whey protein. So that all I can say is lesson learned and try to put that back in. Let's see. Steve, I have 2 little ones, so my sleep gets interrupted each night, but I sleep at least 7 hours. Full body or upper lower do you think would be better? I'm a power builder. We put a lot of emphasis on sleep, but as parents, we can't always get optimal sleep. As long as you feel recovered, I would do whatever workout you feel best with. I like to do upper lowers just because full body, you go in and then you have to do all the warm-up sets for squats, and you have to do all the warm-up sets for bench, and when I'm tired, I don't like to do all that stuff. I'd rather go in and just do uppers or lowers and get it over with. So I would recommend, as an intermediate type of lifter, that you do upper lower. That's probably going to be the most bang for your buck. You'll be able to get in a lot more volume. And full bodies just can become tedious because you have to do so many exercises, so many warm-up sets. I just hate it. If you love them, do them. But if not, do upper lower. Let's see. What do you think of hill sprints as an addition to a standard routine? Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of, I don't do hill sprints, but I do a lot of extreme hiking. And I used to do a ton of step-up work. I love doing things that don't involve lifting. If you want to do hill sprints, yeah, do them. They're great for conditioning. They'll be great for leg explosiveness. But you know what? If you like doing something, just do it. Just do it. Just have fun with it. Try it out. Like, we try to fit everything into this box of lifting. Like, we should only do lifting stuff. But I do a lot of stuff outside of lifting for fitness. Hiking. I go running with Fiona sometimes. And I do like box jumps and stuff like that. So absolutely try them. Just make sure you're listening to your body when you're doing explosive work, because if not, you're going to tear something. So let's see, your opinion on calisthenics. I like to incorporate a body weight exercise into each training day. That's just something I like to do for fun because I like to keep my push-up strength strong. I like to keep my plank strength strong. I like to, and if you want to do things like jumping jacks or other things, absolutely. Whatever you guys like to do it. But do it in a place in your workout where it makes sense. If you want to do back exercises like barbell rows and then do like jumping jacks in between and then move over to seated cable rows, do it. There are no rules here. The rules are you happy, you doing what you want, and you improving your health and longevity. And hey, go for it. They're good quality exercise, and if you find them fun, do it. What are the best calorie-dense foods that aren't filling? The best calorie-dense foods on the planet are going to be, and these are highly nutritious. Don't listen to the hype that they're not, because these are some of the best fats as far as micronutrient and phytochemicals, are heavy cream and butter. They both contain a wealth of quality nutrition. And you can put in an ounce or two of heavy cream into a whey shake and add, 300 calories. You can put a pat or two of butter on your vegetables, on your meat, whatever, and add in a couple hundred calories. So you're adding in some quality fats, but you're not adding in a lot of bulk in your stomach like if you ate like 4 tomatoes or something like that. So always look at fatty foods first, and you want to find fatty foods that are easier to digest, like butters and heavy creams. Obviously, you don't want to overdo it, but that's a really easy way to add in 500 calories to your food intake a day without having to do something stupid like go mad or gallon of milk a day. That's just ridiculous. Let's see. What is the most underrated machine? That's a very good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question before, so let me drink some coffee here. The most underrated machine. I am going to, let me just think through this a little bit. There are a lot of good machines. Leg press is at the top of the list. But I'm gonna go out and say, for me personally, it's the seated cable unit. The seated cable unit, you can go heavy on your back rows. You can go heavy on your rows. You can do things like on that. I can do seated cable curls, which are one of the best bicep exercises. I think that whole unit for me, yes, leg press is good. Yes, there's other machines that are good. But I think the seated cable row is one of the best compound movements for a machine. And it might be at the top of my list because it's just such a great back exercise. And when you do seated cable curls, you can just get that good cable. You can get that good contraction. So overall, that has to be at the top of my list. Personally. I'm guessing I'm not meeting my protein numbers. Can I use whey protein without cycling it, like 1 to 2 shakes a day? Yeah, man. I mean, that's really why whey protein exists, to help us bump up our protein intake. Because look, protein can be expensive. I mean, even if you're doing chicken breast, it can be expensive. And I mean, who wants to choke down chicken breast after chicken breast, dry ass chicken breast after dry ass chicken breast, when you can just put a shake in, and I don't know, what does it cost? Like $1 a shake? So it's just a good quality way of adding protein in your diet, and you're bumping it up like by 50 grams a day. So there are little downsides. Can you talk about exercises that are too hard on the joints? I blew up my medial meniscus doing absolutely nothing. At this point, my joints are wrecked. Exercises that are hard on the joints. I find the hardest exercises on the joints for me are wacky shoulder exercises, like Smith machine ones, like cable upright rows, cable lateral raises. The shoulders are such a fickle area, the whole shoulder girdle, that I find that unusual shoulder exercises away from some of the basics are extremely hard. So I'm not really sure if that answered your question. Body weight lunges can be hard on the joints if you don't do them right, and most people don't do them right. And that's another area to be careful with. And, the big ones are squats and deadlifts, because people don't lose form or don't work on form, or they get involved with these crazy form things. So I'm going to answer about one more question, and then I'm going to drop off and get out for the day, because I'm starting to lose viewers and you guys are starting to get tired of looking at my face here. Steve, what's the difference between doing 4 sets of 10 versus 4 sets of 15, 12, 10, and 8? Nothing. As long as you're progressing, rep ranges don't matter. There are no magic rep ranges. The magic is progression. So if you want to do a certain rep scheme, do it. Don't worry about what any book or any expert says. As long as you're using a reasonable rep range and you're progressing, it's all good. Can advanced lifters follow an auto-regulated approach to progression like the one you recommend? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I did this as an advanced lifter on squats. I would squat heavy 2 to 3 times a week, but here's where the auto-regulation comes in. I would squat heavy, and I started with about 500 pounds. When that single felt manageable, I went up to 505 pounds. If I would squat with 505 pounds and it was a little bit like, wow, that was hard today, I would stick with 505, or I would back down a little bit the next workout. So yes, you can do auto-regulated progression on singles, doubles, triples, 5 rep sets, whatever. You just have to listen to your body and add weight when it makes sense. Don't stick to a program. Stick to what your body and mind are telling you how that set felt. It's kind of like the RPE thing, but without all the headaches and nonsense of putting together a bunch of arbitrary numbers. Just listen to how your body felt on that set, and if it felt manageable, like you're very, very 95% certain you could add 5 pounds to that set and still get in a quality number of reps and do it. That's what I recommend for the advanced lifter. What do you think of these experts who claim you should absolutely never round your back, not even during sit-ups? I mean, let's be serious. I mean, never. I mean, there's overuse, there's abuse. Excuse me, I'm sick. And then there's minor use. So to say never round your lower back, it's like crying fire in a crowded theater. It's nonsense. It's really just nonsense. You want to avoid overuse and abuse, okay? The deadlifter or squatter who has the rounded lower back, that's abuse. Overuse is, I dated a chick once, and she would go to the gym and literally do 2,000 crunches and sit-ups a night, every night, like 4 times a week. That's overuse. You want to avoid overuse and abuse, but minor back flexing, just, it's all good. How much volume should each workout have? Focus on making sets count, okay? You want to get to the 14 to 16 to 18 sets, even 20 sets per workout. Make those sets count. If you do that for a number of years, with a quality amount of reps, you'll be just fine. So that's kind of the sweet spot for volume. But it's going to depend on muscle groups. It's going to depend on how you feel on each muscle group and how you're recovering. But 16 to 18 sets max, maybe 20 sets. If you're younger, you could possibly do 22 to 24 sets. Are they needed? No. Can you recover if you're younger and do that? Probably. All right. I'm trying to get everybody's questions before I go. All right. I think I ran out of questions. All right, guys. That's it for today. I think I answered everybody's questions. I appreciate everyone's support. I'm going to be back on track with YouTube, so look for a daily video again. And I would love to hear your topics. So I missed your topics. Drop them below and I'll make a video. Check out my books. They're linked below on everything. You can go over to muscleandbrawn.com in the shop and buy them. And let's see. We got one more question. I'm going to hit this one more question. I've been sick for over a month. I broke out my routine and took extra time off. Do you think extra time off is necessary? Let's see, extra time, but I never broke my routine and took extra time off. Yeah, man, if you're really sick, I mean, you got to take care of yourself. Sometimes there's some sicknesses you can go to the gym and continue to work on it, but you got to take care of yourself because even if you get away from the gym, muscle memory is a real thing. So when you get back, after 2 weeks, you're going to be back up to full speed again anyway. You're strengthening and adding mitochondria in the cells. Those never go away. So when you return to lifting, any losses you have, any backpedaling you have, they're going to return right away. So just take care of your health. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, check out the links below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Let's see if I can figure out how to end this live video.